out of all the names that I did not think we would be making a video about, Hasso Plattner has to be one of them. Now, the reason we are talking about Hasso Plattner, the founder of SAP SE Software, a guy whom Forbes reported was a multi-billion-dollar man, is because he also happens to own the San Jose Sharks. And earlier in the week, there was an article published by Sheng Peng on San Jose Hockey Now where Plattner went out there and spoke about owning this team. Okay, he spoke about owning the team, but he also spoke about liking the team. If you didn't think that Hasso Plattner is a huge San Jose Sharks fan before, you'll definitely believe it after reading this interview and seeing what he has to say about the San Jose Sharks. I'm going to leave a link in the description to Sheng Peng's piece. Go out there and read it. It's a really insightful look as to one of the more, I'm just going to say, likable NHL owners out there. But part of the reason we are talking about this is because of what Plattner says in regards to regrets. Because Sheng Peng went out there and tweeted this. Hasso says, some of his biggest regrets that he was a part of in regards to the San Jose Sharks are that 1, Josh Norris was let go, and the Sharks never got to draft Stutzle, and also 2, letting Joe Pavelski walk. Now, Joe Pavelski, Mo Shravelski, let's go out there and talk about this first point here, and expand on it a little bit more with this tweet by Max Miller. Hasso says, one mistake I want to share with you was that Tim Stutzle and Josh Norris were let go or not acquired in the draft. Think about the last 3 years. With Stutzle and Norris, this San Jose Sharks team would have been a different team. He also admitted that it was a mistake not to keep Joe Pavelski, but this is over. We are looking forward. And essentially what that means is that he regrets the Erik Karlsson trade. Pretty much, right? That's exactly what he's saying here. Hey, the Erik Karlsson trade, that's what he regrets. Maybe if we just got Pajama Boy, those things wouldn't have happened. Okay, that is... that's a big blast in the past there. Yeah, I gotta remember, John Tavares was really close to signing with San Jose for $13 million a year before taking a much cheaper deal with the Toronto Maple Leafs at $11 million. Nowadays, everybody's getting 12 plus, so maybe 11 doesn't seem like a lot, but back then, oh boy, it was. Now that contract's expired. It was 7 years ago. But anyways, with this in mind, I wanted to go out there and talk about that same Erik Karlsson trade that was made with the San Jose Sharks and the Ottawa Senators, and how things are looking like. What was it? The trade was 2018, so 2018 to 2025, 7 years later. Because if you just take a look at the additions and the subtractions, San Jose got themselves Erik Karlsson, who was signed to an $11.5 million extension by 8 years, and the Ottawa Senators acquired Josh Norris, who was a prospect, the draft pick that became Tim Stutzle, Mads Søgaard, Zach Ostapchuk, and Leevi Merilainen, who is, admittedly, still in the organization today. Say what you want about Leevi Merilainen and the caliber of goaltending he provides, but he's on the team. Of course, drafted with the draft pick that San Jose gave to Ottawa. So, when you think about this trade, I mean, Erik Karlsson, say what you want about him, but this was a guy who I will honestly go to bat and say had a decent run with the San Jose Sharks. I know the owner is going out there and saying, like, yeah, I regret not drafting Stutzle. I regret trading away Norris. Essentially, he regrets trading for Erik Karlsson. But you gotta put your mind back in where the San Jose Sharks were at that time. Erik Karlsson was a top defender in the NHL. He was so good, so productive, the best defender in the world still around this time frame. And in San Jose, it's really unfortunate, but things didn't work out for him all too well right away. Yes, he was under a point per game, but you think about what the San Jose Sharks did that season when they got him. They ended up going to the third round, the Western Conference Finals, before losing to the inevitable Stanley Cup champions in the St. Louis Blues. Erik Karlsson in that playoff run was quite productive, and I don't think you can take away 16 points in 19 playoff games. Now, the only reason it's really difficult to look at that Erik Karlsson trade as a positive is because shortly after, the San Jose Sharks started to suck. And that's where you started to see the team fall apart. You saw the team leave Joe Pavelski in free agency. You saw them go through this entire rebuild. And then you saw Erik Karlsson put up 101 points in 82 games, becoming one of the only defensemen ever to do that. Karlsson was great, but I think with revisionist history in mind, you can take a look at the direction the Sharks were going down, identify that team was old. Thornton, Pavelski, Marleau, Couture, Brent Burns, Edward Vlasic, Karlsson himself. Not the youngest team on the block, and everybody knew a rebuild was coming. It's just so unfortunate that Josh Norris, who was a San Jose Sharks prospect at the time, and Tim Stutzle were part of the package that Ottawa received. And it wasn't even Tim Stutzle directly. It was the third overall pick that became third overall after the season where San Jose started to suck because they just didn't have many young guys. It was a really unfortunate turn of events for San Jose because that 2020 pick was being made for a trade that was made in 2018. So there's a lot to pay attention to in regards to long-term storytelling here. But now, when you revisit how the trade went, obviously it would have been nice to see Tim Stutzle drafted third overall to the San Jose Sharks. Josh Norris, if you disregard all the injuries, because hey, he's going out there and missing even more weeks with the Buffalo Sabres now. By the way, Dylan Cousins was inevitably acquired by Ottawa for that same Josh Norris. But when you think about Norris as a healthy player, he provides a lot of value. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to display that a lot with San Jose, but a part of me does wonder if Norris was just developing in a different system. If he just played for San Jose over Ottawa, would he still have a lot of those same injury struggles? I get it. These struggles have followed him from Ottawa over to Buffalo, so you can say it probably would have still happened, but there's always that hypothetical. There's always that what if. If he just had a different coach or a different strategy in front of him or a different set of line mates, what happens to this guy? Does he get hurt in the ways that he gets hurt so often nowadays? Would he have avoided some sort of a super serious injury, and would his career have looked a lot better? Because the talent on display, you can't deny that's there. I mean, 3 years ago, 35 goals in 66 games played. The guy was only 23 years old. There's a lot to like out of Josh Norris. And then, of course, Timmy Stu is Timmy freaking Stu. 90 points in 2022-2023. He has been roughly a point per game-ish player when you discount some of the injuries that he has taken. Timmy Stu is a very dynamic player. I think a lot of folks really like his skill set. But San Jose, they had the opportunity to get him had they just kept the draft pick, which unfortunately did not end up going down. However, I will say this. There is one reply that I do think we have to acknowledge when it comes to the San Jose Sharks owner regretting the Erik Karlsson trade. Tim says this here: if we had Tim Stutzle, we wouldn't have Macklin Celebrini. I'd literally have Mac in every situation here. And this, I think, is solace for the loss of Tim Stutzle and Josh Norris. Even though these guys are two very good players, I think Macklin Celebrini is debatably going to establish a class of his own heading into the long term compared to those two guys. Like, if Celebrini ends up becoming kind of like a Sidney Crosby light, maybe not an Art Ross winner every year, maybe not a Hart winner every year, but somebody who is in that level of play, who has that mold of a hockey surgeon attached to him, who's able to just do everything right and provide some dynamic offense on top of that, I honestly wouldn't be surprised. I feel like Macklin Celebrini, out of the three, if you think about Norris, you think about Tim Stutzle, you think about Celebrini, I'd rather have Celebrini than anybody. This guy's really damn good, and if he is the ultimate consolation prize for losing out on drafting Stutzle and keeping Josh Norris and his 35 goals in 60 games as a 23-year-old, then honestly I don't think it's that bad. But of course, an owner's allowed to say what it is that he wants, and to regret what it is that he wants. So with that in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about how Hasso Plattner's literally saying he regrets the Erik Karlsson trade, and whether or not you think the trade itself was actually a benefit for the team. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. If you didn't, the dislike button's there for you. Thoughts in the comment section below, because comments help out with the algorithm. I'd appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.